Hi, and welcome to In the City with Crystal, a show that features some of the DMV's best entertainment, arts, music, and everything. I'm your host, Crystal Goodwin, and this is my co-host, my great buddy, actress Esperanza Davis. And we have a great show lined up for you today with Miss Roxanne Reid. She's a wonderful playwright, and we're going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So stay with us. We'll be right back in a moment.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hello, Miss Roxanne Reid, playwright. So happy to have you here today. I'm so impressed with the work you do. How long have you been writing stage plays?
For about 17 years.
That's a long time. So you've been like just writing, and...
Actually, I started writing plays back 17 years ago, and I kept them on disc, and I never did anything with them.
Wow. Did you have professional training in writing? Did you take journalism or anything in college?
When I was in college, I went to college for business, and I took some courses, creative writing courses, and my professors,
extra credit.
yeah, that too. And my professors saw that I had potential, and they thought I was very creative in some of the things that I turned into them. So it made me want to do a little more writing.
Talent started coming out, in that passion.
Yes, the passion. Yes,
it took over.
It did indeed. It did indeed. Yes.
Well, what made you decide to follow your dreams and start writing?
I was coached mainly by my sister. My sister at the time had cancer, and
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I would visit her and spend days with her, and I would tell her about my stories and recite my plays and stuff to her. And she told me that I needed to get them out to the world and let people see them. She enjoyed them so much, she felt that other people would enjoy them as well. So I made a promise to her that I would get them off the disc and put them on the stage. And she passed in July of 2012, and by September,
you had to go forward.
Exactly, I made that promise. Yes.
Yes.
So September of 2012, I held my first auditions, and in February of 2013, I did my first play.
Your first play. Oh, it's a shame she didn't get to see it. Yeah.
That's a sister's love.
But she was there in spirit and stuff.
I dedicated I dedicated the production to her.
That is a sister's love, you know. That's a sister's love.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I agree.
And that was your inspiration to get that stuff off your cupboard and on that stage and do it.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
You had to do it for yourself. You had to do it for the love of your sister.
Yes,
and
I
for
did.
the bond you both shared.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Because I can attest to what a sister's love is. I lost my sister, so, you know, she would always tell me, you need to go forward with this thing.
And
you can do it. I'm like, I can.
Yes.
But it seemed like once you lose them, it's like I have to show them something because I'm still amongst the living.
I had to.
And
I had to keep my promise to her because I made that promise to her that I would do that, and I felt that if I did not do it, I would be letting her down in a way, and you know, and not keeping my promise to her. And she left this world feeling like I was going to
share that talent with the world, and people are coming out and seeing you. They're loving it. They were great.
Do you do all of your writing, or do you collaborate with someone?
Actually, I do all of the writing. I actually do all of my writing.
So.
Yeah, I do.
I knew that. I felt that. I felt that about you because I know from working with you in the past how you were with your direction and how you were particular about certain things. It's like, no, I want to sing it with this tone. I like that tone, but you need to sing it like this.
She's a little powerhouse, y'all. She is a little dynamo, a teeny little thing, but a powerhouse. And I love your direction.
Thank you.
Because it's very soft, very genteel, and in the way. You're not, do this, do
Well,
that.
they've always told me you can get more bees with honey, so I don't yell and I don't
got a lot
scream.
of honey out of me.
I don't scream. I know I
You got a
did.
lot of honey out of me, 'cause I was like, and then if it was something, you would just say, Esperanza, I like it like that. And I kind of appreciate that, because at first in open forum, sometimes you could feel a little embarrassed with something.
Exactly.
But then if someone comes and say, hey, do it, blah, 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 the next go around, you got all of my attention.
Yes.
Well, I feel that it's important to,
It's very
talk to the person individually as opposed to in the full group. It can be embarrassing,
Kids
So,
on blast sometimes just make you feel like, well, I don't know if I want to show
well,
up
she's
for
a
the next
good
rehearsal.
director. Yeah,
Thank
you're a
you.
really good director.
Thank
'cause
you.
You give your actor, audience, Esperanza and I have been in her plays, and so we really love this
You've been in
play
too.
and your direction. You give the person, the character, how you want it portrayed, and then you let us develop it. That's what makes you great.
Exactly.
Okay.
I feel like that lets the artist do their best work. If you allow them to develop the character, they're going to do a good job developing their character.
It'll come across natural,
right?
too. So,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the name of your first play, and where was the venue?
My first play was silent. My first play was called Sins of the Father, and it was at the Public Playhouse for the Performing Arts in Cheverly. Yes.
Nice, nice.
Nice venue. Now, I know it's hard to produce a stage play. It's so much work that goes on behind the scenes. Can you tell me what steps you took to bring your script to the stage? I mean, it's so many small details, and you were working alone with your first play.
Yes.
So what did you have to do first? You need to
Excuse me.
we need to know. We need to know what do you do.
Well, the first thing is you got to decide that you want to bring this play to the stage. And the next thing that I do is I get a venue.
Yes.
And then once I get a venue, I sort of get a little group together to help me out with it, And I do the auditions, and I get the word out to different actors to let them know that I am holding auditions for the play. And then once I do the auditions, the next phase is the rehearsals. So we do the rehearsals, we've got our date, we've got our venue, so the next thing is to develop the characters and do the rehearsals.
Be on time.
Yes.
Be on time.
Yes.
On time, all the time.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul,
Estimated time 47 hours.
they will beg,
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
they will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking.
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
Welcome back to In the City with Crystal, and we're here with playwright Miss Roxanne Reid, and we're having a ball. I need to know, tell us how, because I know this stuff costs money. How have you financed your productions, and have you had any sponsors to help? And
No, I haven't had any sponsors so far.
do it on your own. I gotcha.
and actually what I do is, it's kind of funny, but what I do is every year, if you notice that I have my plays in the spring, and that's because of income tax refunds. And I usually fund them with my income tax return money, and that way it's not, I don't have it, so I don't miss it, you know what I mean? And if I prosper, then fine. If not, the whole point is for me to get messages out there through stage,
when you, with your first play, you financing them all. That's what
I've financed every play that I've had so far. I'm looking for sponsors, but I have financed.
Hopefully
all
she
of
can
them.
get some
Yes,
now.
yes, I
Right.
hope so.
The plays are excellent.
Thank
they
you
are
so
excellent.
much. Thank you.
And are your productions, are they fiction, or are there some real life stuff that you're touching upon, that you're pulling from characters from your past? Or
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that because yes, it is. Some of it is real life experience, and some of it is fiction. For instance, in Silent Scream, I dug back to when I was a little girl, and I actually
tell us what Silent Scream is about. Tell the audience.
Silent Scream is a play about mental illness. It's about one woman's struggle to overcome the fact that it's sort of like hereditary. Her grandfather was admitted in an institution because of mental illness, and when she was 7 years old, her mother committed suicide with an overdose of pills and a glass of wine. And she was 7 years old, and now 37 years later, she's married with 2 children, and she finds out, you know, on a daily basis, she's a stay-at-home mom, and she starts having these breakdowns, you know, and these depressions, and she tries to overcome it by drinking alcohol, but it gets worse. And when her brother is brought in, he explains to her that he too suffered from the illness, but that he has been able to get medication and been able to, you know, live a normal life. Yeah.
That you always do, that little twist.
Thank you.
But your plays also have hidden messages too. And most of the time they're hidden messages of hope.
Exactly.
And because people leave your plays feeling uplifted and really great. They really do.
Thank you.
And have you thought about making these productions into an indie movie? That's your next step. That's the next level. Have you thought about that?
I would.
Or a web series.
They both sound inviting. I have actually, I would love to be able to put a couple of my films that I have done, is the one we just talked about, Silent Scream, and I would also love to put Sins of the Father. You know, I think I sort of gear towards the ones that are about abuse or you know, mental illness or something, because of the message that they bring. The message, and the message that, like as you said, the message that you leave there, knowing that there is hope. You know, for both situations, I allowed the audience to know that it didn't end that way. They were able to get hope. And I would like to you know, venture to film eventually. I really would. I love the stage, but I would like to see what it would be like to.
I really think you do well.
Great, thank you.
Making it into an indie movie, because there's so much depth to your plays.
Okay.
Then she can have fun. Tell about Dewdrop In. That's how we met.
Oh yes.
That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
That was just something, you took a medley of everyone's characters and just put them all together. And just to have that one venue, to have so many different talents to come through and to be able to upstage, because you allowed everyone to upstage the performance. It was just wonderful. I'm not going to hear too much, because for you viewers out there, you need to watch this play.
You need to watch it.
It's phenomenal.
Dewdrop In, and we both were in it with so many characters. It was kind of a Cheers scenario, like with a bar and all of the different people that are coming by the bar, and each person has had a story.
Yes.
Where did you get all of that? Tell us about Dewdrop In. Dewdrop In was so much fun.
Well, I actually, I'm an old fan of Cheers.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm an old fan of Cheers. And one day I just said, I wonder what it would be like to turn Cheers into an African-American bar with the different, you know, characters coming in, you know, from a whole different vibe, you know. So, and instead of 3 or 4 characters, I don't know what possessed me to do 25 characters, but it was so much fun working with you guys. I remember I still call you the bar drunk. And Sabina, the bar drunk.
And play a drunk, and she gave me the opportunity. I loved it. And each person, each group that came onto the stage had a story. You had church lady.
The church lady right here.
Save everyone.
Girls in a bar. And the thing about it, the owners
But they respect
They were Christians, and so
Yeah.
they're swilling out liquor and stuff, but they're speaking the word, you know.
Yeah.
But it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And then you had moments of drama, you know, because
college kid.
certain characters came on and they were dealing with things in their life. And it was just like a real life round the way hangout.
It was a bar in New York.
It was. I was getting ready to ask you. Tell
It
us
was a
about that.
bar.
What?
It was
somewhere
a bar
you.
in New York. Yeah, that was the scene I wanted to depict. It was a bar in New York, and it, you know, because as they say, New York is a city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
So this husband and wife ran this bar, and he inherited the bar. And then you mentioned that they went to church. He inherited the bar. So he still went to church and did what he wanted to do, even though he inherited the bar. He didn't want the family business to shut down. But by the same token, he didn't want to stop going to church, and that's how he knew the church lady, was from, you know, going to church with her.
And that was the family business. And
Yeah, so
hey, sometimes, you know, to spread the word, you got to go where the people at.
exactly.
To save them.
Exactly.
I mean, the people who need to be saved in the bar.
Yes, yeah.
So,
And there were some characters there that needed it.
production. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't step over you.
No problem.
I know your favorite production was the one that I was in, right? No, seriously.
well, that's your favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I loved all
What
of
was your
them.
favorite?
Well, thank you. Until I did Silent Scream, my favorite one was Sins of the Father. Believe it or not. And I think probably,
Captivating.
I think Sins of the Father was my favorite because that was my first stage play. That was like, you know, the first baby
was
or
your
the first child, you know,
firstborn
my
baby you
firstborn.
birthed.
And it was the subject matter that it dealt with, the abusive husband and how the wife overcome it. And it was terrible what it took for her to leave him eventually, but you know, the turns and turns and turns, I thought,
But
you
to
know,
show that there's hope and you can get out.
Yeah.
Feeling in that.
Yeah,
There's so
and
much
you can get out.
And the thing that touched me mostly probably about it was when we had our 15-minute intermission, I had two women come up to me, and one with a baby and a new husband, and told me that I had her story on stage. And you know, I cried with them, and the same thing happened when I did Silent Scream last year. I had some military come up to me and tell me that they were dealing with depression from the war, and you know, one particular gentleman came up to me and he told me that he saw him and his wife in my play, and we cried together, you know, because you know, this is the whole point of it, and this is why I believe that, you know, this is sort of like a ministry to me, to be able to help people and to let people see that you may be in a situation, but you don't have to live and you don't have to stay in that situation. There is help. There is help. You know.
And it's a message. You definitely have messages, and then some are for fun, like Drop In was total fun.
Yes,
that
it was.
Just total fun.
It was
funny.
fun. Yes. I try to put a little humor into each and every play. As you well know, the play we just did, Getting My Piece of the Pie.
Oh God, that was hilarious. That was funny.
Esperanza played African nurse.
I did.
And I'm sorry, Crystal played. I'm sorry, Crystal played an African nurse, and she was
Jamaican man.
and she
I was Jamaican man. Yes,
Listen
I was Jamaican.
She had the accent, and we did
was
it at my
funny.
church, and my church members loved her. They loved her. They loved her
Yes.
character.
That was wonderful. It's so great that you know, they all supported you and they came out. It was packed. Okay, we're going to take a break. And we're going to see some more of her stuff out there, her clips, and we're going to get to talking and find out some more stuff.
It's a long story, but it's always interesting with Karen.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's all right. Why do you ask?
You seem so consumed lately. You got so upset about Greg and his wife losing the baby.
You know, it really hit home when he talked about his wife. I mean, I just feel bad for the guy with them losing their baby. I mean, I'm blessed with two beautiful kids, and I can't imagine my life without them.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. If ever you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Wouldn't you, I would have to job.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Hey, look, you're a hard worker, and you always have my back. And you know I appreciate that.
Welcome back to In the City with Crystal, and we hope you enjoyed that last clip of Miss Roxanne Reid, playwright, of her plays. We're having so much fun here.
Yes.
I have a question for you, Miss Roxanne. What is your, as being a great writer and director, what would you say is your style of writing and directing?
I would say my style is, you know, for lack of a better way of saying it, kind of laid back. And my style, I love drama with a little bit of comedy.
Yes.
You know, I don't want the plays to be, excuse me,
Yes.
I don't want the plays to be all serious.
Right.
You know, because I don't want my audience to leave being depressed or, you know, and crying the whole way through. So I usually throw a little comedy in there, you know, and I try to keep it, you know, comedy, drama, you know, and real life experiences.
Comedy is healing.
Yes, it is.
Healing. A good laugh, it just
Does the
brightens up.
heart good as medicine.
Yes, yes,
Yes, it
does.
is.
Does the heart good as medicine.
And that's what you're doing with these plays. People are coming out to be entertained, and you're taking them to one spot when they're emotional and it might be they're crying over something, but then they're going to walk, then it's another scene that they're going to crack up. So,
Escape.
yes. So when people come
So
out,
important.
Yes.
want to be
Just to
entertained.
I agree.
Be able to say, I'm away from that moment, and even if I have to go back to that situation I'm in, I'm going back with a different frame of mind.
Yes.
I'm going to work it out when I get there.
Exactly.
'Cause
Exactly. Yes.
You are the essence of hope
Yeah.
when people come out and see.
Well, thank you.
And it's really important.
Thank
come
you.
out and see.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Baby. Baby. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Steve didn't tell me. Steve, you didn't tell me that we were going to have company over after church this Sunday?
Karen, it's just James. He came by to drop off some paperwork in the office that I didn't get a chance to sign. What's wrong with your hair and why are you dressed like that?
Do you like it?
Karen.
James, it's paperwork, huh? It's always about the office. James, is it James? The office. He lives and breathes office work.
Thank you.
Miss Roxanne, tell me something. What is your inspiration to writing? What motivates you and drive you to writing your plays? That factor that just makes you say, this is what I need to put in my play. This captures the essence of my being. Because it exudes. When I was sitting there watching, and I was so delighted because you invited me out, like you always do, and I was sitting there watching and I was just mesmerized. You do that.
Thank you.
So what drives you to that factor?
Actually, and I've shared it during my plays, how a lot of my ideas, or I would probably say all of my ideas, have come from God.
Amen.
I get woken up at 1, 2 in the morning, and God speaks to me, and He gives me ideas that He wants me to write about. And I guess probably what it is, He knows more so than we do what's going on in the world.
Yes.
And He gives me the subject matter.
Yes.
He said to me, I want you to write about mental illness, and I made a joke and said, what do I know about mental illness, you know? And yet and still I wrote it on a tablet at my bedside, and He also gives me the titles that He wants me to use. He did it with, I would say He did it with Sins of the Father. He did it with The Preacher Man.
Yes.
Not so much with the Dewdrop Inn, because as I said earlier, I sort of based that on the TV show, you know.
Yeah.
But He did it with Silent Screen, and He did it with the last one. He said to me, I want you to write about mental illness, and
It's
I want
your
you to give
ministry.
it
It's a ministry.
Silent Screen, yes. And I'm also the head of the drama ministry at my church. So I do,
There it
you know,
is.
yeah. So
There
God
it
is
is.
using me to bring His message to
Using you
His
as a
people.
vessel.
And by doing it at the churches, a lot of times people that don't normally come to church will come to see my plays and support me.
Wow.
So I'm still
And wanna
bringing
be
them into the
entertained.
church. Yeah, they come to be entertained, but they find out something else is going on as well.
And then they'll say, well, let me come back again next Sunday. Let me just check out that church again.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yes, but my ideas for the past 2 or 3 plays that I have done, I have to be honest and say they actually came from God. He gave me the subject that he wanted me to write about, and I'd make jokes when he would speak to me and say, I don't know anything about that. And he would come back and repeat it again. I want you to write about mental illness, or I want you to write about a woman stealing another woman's formula for cosmetics, which is the recent play that I did, you know. So my sister, one thing she told me, the sister that convinced me to do the writing in the first place, she said, when God gives you an assignment or tells you to do something, don't question it. Be obedient. She said, be obedient. So I have
Pay
been.
attention to your executive producer.
Yes, indeed. That's what he is,
Jesus,
exactly. Because I give all credit to him, because I wouldn't be sitting here and I wouldn't be, you know, where I am with writing. And he has used me as a vessel, you know, for the past few plays, and I'm really, really grateful to him.
And he's anointed you and appointed you with a gift.
Yes, he has, and I thank him for that. Because
and thank you for sharing it.
I don't know where the ideas,
where
I would come from with ideas if it was me doing it, you know. But with him, he touches on subjects that he feels should be, you know, explored
and spoke about.
What's most important is that you're being obedient.
Oh yes, I have to be. I have to be obedient.
And he'll even fuel you with more.
Yeah,
because he sees your obedience.
Yes. And this
That's
is
beautiful, Ms.
This is my ministry.
Yes,
it's my ministry.
Yes, that's your calling.
Yes, it is.
And it takes you to be obedient. Obedience is something that when God tells you to do something, you have to do it. And not only with that, he'll fuel you as he see you being obedient.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I totally agree. I agree. And my obedience has allowed me to entertain and to help people and to give people hope, you know, because I am being obedient, you know. I feel that, you know, this is what God wants me to do.
We want to thank you for joining us for this excellent show. We've had so much fun with our guest playwright, Miss Roxanne Reid. I'm Crystal Goodwin, your host, and this is my co-host, Miss Esperanza Davis. Peace, love, and smooches.